Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to turn a steering wheel 4 different ways. In this video, I'll be showing you 4 different easy ways that will allow you to effectively and safely turn your steering wheel. Now let's get right to it, okay? The first way that I want to outline is something called hand over hand steering, okay? So hand over hand steering is basically when you have your hands on the wheel like this, and what you do is you use one hand to turn the wheel in the opposite direction. So I'm going to use my right hand to turn the wheel in the left direction, and my left hand is going to go over my right hand to grab the wheel. Then my right hand goes under, just like that, grabs the wheel, and over, under, over, under, just like that, okay? If I wanted to turn it to the right, I would use my left hand, and I would bring my left hand to turn it to the right, and then my right hand would go over, under, over, under, over, under, hand over, under, hand over hand. Very, very simple. As you can see, it offers a lot of versatility and a lot of control over the steering wheel. If you want to turn your steering wheel quickly while still having a good amount of control and pretty much 2 hands on the wheel most of the time, this is a good method. You're using 2 hands and you're able to turn the steering wheel quickly, okay? The next method, the second method, is also a 2-handed method, and it is the push-pull method, okay? So check this out. We have the steering wheel right here. Now for the push-pull method, what you're gonna do is you're gonna use one hand to push the steering wheel and another hand to pull it. You want to push, pull, push, pull. So let's say I wanted to turn my steering wheel to the right. In order to do that, I would take my right hand and I'm going to push it under, just like that. Then my left hand grabs it and pulls. Right hand pushes, left hand pulls, just like that. Let's say I wanted to steer to the left, okay? I'm going to take my left hand, push it, my right hand pulls. Left hand pushes, right hand pulls, and your hands sort of meet around the steering wheel, okay? Just once again, let's try that one more time. So, meeting hands, meeting at the top, meeting at the bottom, meeting at the top, just like that. As you can see, that is also a very versatile steering method because it allows you to have a good amount of control simply because you have 2 hands on the wheel for the most part, and you always have your hands available to you, easily available to you. Now the third method, the third steering method that I want to outline is actually a one-handed steering method, and that's just to palm the steering wheel with your hand. So let's say that you have one hand on the gear selector or adjusting the radio or doing whatever, you know, having a sip of coffee or something like that. Then you have to have the other hand on the wheel and using that hand to steer the wheel. Now, as you can see, you want your hand to be sort of at the top center of the steering wheel. And then when you turn, you want to grab the steering wheel and pull it in one direction or the other. But when you can no longer turn, so after about here or here, what you want to do is you want to open your hand and allow your palm to rotate on the steering wheel, just like that. And that allows you to actually turn the steering wheel really quickly too, with only one hand. As you can see, check that speed out. Super fast steering wheel turns, just like that, okay? Very simple. So once again, you can also grab the steering wheel on the top during the turn. So I can open my hand, grab it on the top, open my hand, grab it on the top, just like that. It's a great method because it allows you to turn the steering wheel quickly. The only downside of this method, of this one-handed steering method, is the simple fact that you have limited control because you're only using one hand. So you have very limited control over the steering wheel because you're only using one hand. Now this fourth method that I'm going to outline is a method that allows you to turn the steering wheel really quickly, and you can use only 1 or 2 fingers, okay? But it doesn't offer you that much control. So for that reason, before I show you the method, I do want to say that I only recommend using this method when you're at a standstill, when you're stopped and you want to make, let's say, a 3-point turn and you have to turn your steering wheel really quickly. That's when I would recommend using this method, not to steer while you're driving, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to take your finger, 1 or 2 fingers, and you want to place it in any of these gaps over here Okay, you can see the gaps right here in the corner. So you have one corner here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different corners to choose from. Okay, it's very, very simple. So once again, we have 6 different corners to choose from. What you want to do is take a finger, place it in there, or 2 fingers, and just turn the steering wheel with your fingers like that. Check that out. And as you can see, it turns the steering wheel quickly. I'm only using 1 finger or 2 fingers, but it doesn't offer you that much control because let's create a situation here. Let's say I was turning to the left and then I had to go to the right. In order to turn to the right, my hand has to go to the other corner to turn back to the right. Even if I was in a smaller gap, let's say once again, I'm turning to the left and then I have to go to the right, my hand has to move in positions. And when your hand switches positions, you know, you're wasting time because the wheels and the steering wheel is not being turned. Okay, once again, so it's a very, 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 it's a one-off method in the sense that it shouldn't be used often, only when you're at a standstill. And actually, last but not least, there's a little bonus steering method. This one I wouldn't recommend. That's why I didn't want to include it in the main aspect of the video, but as a little bit of a bonus, a different steering method is when you are sort of going to stay in a straight line. If you're driving on the highway and you know there's no curves coming up, you can see it's just straight, and you might just have to switch lanes, but you're not turning. You know, you can hold the steering wheel down here. Sometimes I hold the steering wheel over here because I'm resting my elbows on the areas right here, so I can hold the steering wheel just like that, okay? And that is only when you're not going to turn, because if you have to turn, it's not a good idea to hold your hands down here. But if you're just driving in a straight line and you just have to switch lanes or maneuver like that, this is a decent space to hold the steering wheel. I wouldn't recommend doing this though on a regular basis, only if you know that you're gonna have to be driving straight the whole time. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over a few different ways to turn the steering wheel. I have shown you how to turn a steering wheel in 4 different ways, plus one little bonus way that I will only recommend using when you are on long trips and you have to sort of rest your elbows and you know that you're not going to be making any turns or anything like that. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.